Derrick, but once again,
You're struggling to get it out. Get it out.
no, Derrick. You know how I'm straight shooter with you. We always talk. Spence Crawford, Spence Crawford, and Spence Crawford so many times. I feel like it's more closer than before.
I mean,
Personally, me. I know you know more than I do.
No, don't.
You don't give no hints. I know.
No. I think that what you said is true. I believe. I think it's true. It's definitely closer than it was before, because there was never any talks about it. That's why he's suing Bob Arum, because they were saying they talked about it, but they never talked about it. So they are talking about it, so they're further along. And maybe we'll see.
Would you be surprised if Terence Crawford comes, if PBC offers him a tune-up fight before he faces?
No, that's not that. No, man, please, no, man. It's time to go.
Do you think that also, if the fighters both want it, they're very talkative about it, and I've seen that Errol, usually he doesn't talk much. He's he's in the shove. He's always been like that, and we can respect it. But now he's more like, hey, he's on the camera. Hey, this is the fight I want. I don't care. This is the fight I want. This is the fight I want.
But if you think about it, it's only from his beginning of him saying that he wants to get all of the belts and then fight Crawford. So he's living his own prophecy, right? This is what he said he wanted to do. That's what he said he was going to do. So regardless of what everybody else was saying, what everybody else wanted, how would it sound for Errol to fight Terence Crawford for a unified title and not be for undisputed championship? That wouldn't even make sense, because you got to beat Crawford, then you got to go get Ugas. That's silly. Why wouldn't it be for everything? So if everybody else got what they wanted, it wouldn't even make sense. Fighting for the unified championship, what is that? It's the deal is to fight for the undisputed championship. Bigger, better deal.
And go down in history better.
Right, that's right. And Errol did exactly what he said he was going to do. I'm going to go get all these belts. You keep your belt, and we'll meet at this particular point. So forget about what everybody's saying, all the chitter-chatter. They don't know what they're talking about.
Real quick, do you agree or disagree with me on this? If that fight, once it presents itself, I'm hoping it happens by the end of this year, if not next year, it could go down as one of the biggest fights in America, boxing, and for America, two American fighters that we haven't had that in years. I don't know what you think.
It's going to be like a Ray Leonard Hearns fight, a Ray Leonard Hagler fight. It's going to be really probably like the Hearns fight. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a super fight. That's what they would call back in the day a super fight. I think it'll be a super fight. I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Derrick, I know you're not very outspoken. Not that per se loudmouth coach that likes to make a lot of noise. You like to, your actions speak in the ring from your fighters, and obviously, that Charlo fight tszyu happens. But there's also rumblings and talkings of people calling Charlo out in the division. You have Danny Garcia, who's going to go to 154 for the first time in his weight class, and then you have obviously Crawford, who's making a name as well for himself, saying that he will go to that weight class. What do you think of those two fighters that been calling Charlo out at the moment?
I think that, man, everybody gonna do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? If they feel like they want that, he has to deal with Errol first. Deal with that situation first, and then we'll see whatever. I mean, Charlo not even the issue. You got to deal with the other deal before you think about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
If he, well, I don't worry about that. He's not get past that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but then you have the pressure from the fans and the critics.
No pressure from fans at all.
But we see that Danny Garcia is going to do his debut at the end of this month in New York versus Jose Benavidez in 154. He's 0-3 against all the champions, and we've seen that. Even if that fight maybe does not present itself, hypothetically, we could say that maybe Charlo has that advantage over Garcia.
Put like this: if Jermell fights Danny Garcia and he loses that fight. Once he beats Danny Garcia, he's going to have to either do one or two things. Move to Dallas, because we own him, or Texas, somewhere in Texas, or change his last name to James. I'm joking, but I'm just saying, because listen, who cares, man? Listen, man, you move up if you want to move up. He was small for 147. He's small for 154. I mean, it's okay, whatever. I mean, if he, everybody's coming out. Everybody should be challenging the champion or calling out the champion, because what other reason should you be in boxing? So, if he moves up, he does what he does it. I mean, if it's tszyu, you know it is. I mean, it's just like that's what we have to deal with. I mean, just focus on that. And until then, I mean, until it's final and solidified, we're okay with whatever.
Now we heard after the victory of Charlo beating Brian Castaño in LA, which was a great performance for both fighters. Obviously, more for your fighter. Charlo put in a brilliant performance. That knockout was very vicious. It's been said that his next opponent is tszyu.
Possibly, yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's going to be. Now, once that fight happens, I know you stated during the press conference, tszyu has nothing. He shouldn't be talking because his last performance wasn't that great. He said, "I don't watch boxing. When I saw, he doesn't look that great." You believe that fight, when he presents himself, Charlo will still have an advantage as he's coming off a big victory, and tszyu still, he had an injury on his hands. I don't know if you also knew that.
No, I didn't know that. No, I mean, I think that, put it like this. I think that everything's happened in stages. I mean, if you rush situation, he's the #1 contender, I believe. I heard that the WBA ordered that fight or somebody, WBO. So, I mean, if that's what
one of the sanctioned bodies,
one of the, yes, it's like, that's what it is, that's what it is. I mean, but I think that when you speak and jump out too fast, or, whatever, then you get what you jump out and you ask for. You know what I mean? That's what I think. So I think he's a good fighter, though.
Derrick, we're not too far away from Dallas, right? We're in San Antonio.
Right.
Your fighter Frank Martin is quickly making a name for himself. Talking to us a little bit more about Frank Martin as he's facing Jackson Martinez this Saturday night here in San Antonio, Texas.
Jackson Martinez is a phenomenal fighter, but very skilled, very talented. Frank has been in camp for like 4 or 5 months. With the fighting on Errol's card didn't happen. The fighting on Jermell Charlo's card didn't happen. So this is a card that's happening. It was great to have him here. It was a last-minute replacement. But Frank has been ready. A lot of good work, a lot of good sparring. All the guys, thank you all for giving us the good work. It's time to go.
Derrick, if I'm not mistaken, his first opponent fell through due to visa issues.
Right.
Now we have Jackson Martinez.
Well, it was really somebody before that.
Okay.
And then that fell through for the Errol card. Then for the Jermell card. Then it was Jermell. Then it was so many other things. Yeah, we're ready to go now.
So, in training camp, when you're preparing for these obvious fighters, how do you adapt last minute? So, hey, we got to change the style. Oh, now we got to change it again. Could that be a little bit stressful, or how is it, as a trainer and as well for your boxer?
I think that, like, I had to just tell them out there, I said, listen, this is what it is. It's what we have to go with. So that's what you basically accept it, embrace it, and move forward. The strategy that we were using is something that was very similar, and it's not so hard to change. That it got 5'5", 5'4". Then we have a guy 5'11". So that's the difference. So from me going here to there, and and making a couple switches here and there is all we have to do.
Derrick, it's no secret that this year you're having a success, obviously, with the undisputed for Charlo, the Charlo twins, Jermell Charlo. You obviously have Spence, who had a good performance recently. Now you have Frank Martin. How is it managing and training all these fighters? Because I remember years ago, before barely Charlo was coming into your camp, when Spence was already making a name for himself, you said, hey, I set the times for every fighter. I don't get no distractions. So how you still manage it now that you have these champions?
I still do that, man. And it can be difficult at times. I mean, but it's what it is. What I chose to do, and it's life, man. It's difficult at times to manage the time and this and that, but it's what it is. I mean, you deal with what you deal with, and you make the best out of it. I think I've done pretty well with making the best out of my situation.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.